Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a business model that, powers a massive chunk of online shopping, but stays almost completely invisible. It's called dropshipping, and it's a process you've almost certainly been a part of, probably without even realizing it.
So, think about it for a second. Have you ever bought something from a website you know and trust?
Only to have a box show up on your doorstep from a company you've never even heard of, right? That little moment of confusion, that's exactly what we're diving into today. Well, there's a name for that. It's called third-party sales. And in simple terms, it's when a company sells you a product that it doesn't actually have in stock. Instead, the moment you click buy, they tell a partner, maybe the manufacturer or a giant wholesaler, to ship that item directly to you. So why on earth would a company operate like this? Well, it all boils down to this really powerful, almost magical idea, the promise of having zero inventory. I mean, this model completely flips traditional retail on its head. A normal business has to buy a ton of stuff, stick it in a warehouse, and then just hope you come along and buy it. With dropshipping, the company sells the product to you first. Only then does it actually trigger the shipment from its partner. Their own warehouse? Totally bypassed. And the payoff for doing this? It's huge. First, there's absolutely zero inventory risk. No money tied up in products that might just sit there and collect dust. Second, the cash flow is just fantastic. They get your money before they even have to pay their supplier. And third, they can create these massive product catalogs, selling stuff they don't even make. It's a really powerful strategic advantage. Okay, so we get why companies love this model. But how does it all actually work behind the scenes? Let's follow the digital breadcrumbs your order leaves from the second you click that buy button. So this is what people in the biz call the golden process flow. It all starts with you placing your order. Instantly, the company's system generates an internal request to buy that item. That request gets turned into a formal purchase order that zips over to the vendor. The vendor then ships the goods straight to you and sends their bill back to the company you bought from. And here's the kicker. Only after all that happens does the company you bought from finally bill you. Now, this entire complex dance hinges on one tiny, crucial detail. That purchase order doesn't say ship to our warehouse. Nope, it sends your address directly to the vendor. That simple little switch in the data is the secret sauce that makes this whole thing possible. Now, for this to work so smoothly, different departments like sales and purchasing have to be in perfect sync. You can think of it like a digital handshake, made possible by just a few really important settings in the system. So on the sales side of things, there's a setting that's basically a financial safety switch. It tells the system, hey, hold on, do not bill our customer until we have gotten the invoice from our vendor. This is so important for control. It makes sure the company has proof that the item was shipped before they ask you for a dime. And on the other side of that handshake, the purchasing system gets its own special signal. An item is flagged with a special category, which is basically code for, attention everyone, this isn't for us, it's not coming to our warehouse, this one is special. It's going straight to a customer. Okay, all this digital communication leads us to what is, honestly, the most interesting part of this whole process. The accounting. I know, but trust me, this is where it gets really, really clever. So this creates a genuine puzzle for the accountants. Think about it. In a normal sale, you record the cost of an item when it leaves your warehouse. But with dropshipping, the product was never in your warehouse. So when exactly do you record that cost? The official term for this is COGS, or cost of goods sold. It's absolutely essential for figuring out profit. But in this model, the normal trigger for recording COGS, the product physically leaving the building, it just never happens. So companies really have two main ways to handle this. Scenario A is the simple way. Just wait for the vendor's bill to show up and then record the cost. But that can be slow. Scenario B is way more sophisticated. The second the vendor ships the item, the company creates something called a statistical goods receipt. It's not a real receipt for real inventory. It's just a financial marker, a placeholder. And here's a little insider tip. Pretty much every finance team out there prefers scenario B. Why? Because it lets them perfectly match the cost of the item with the revenue from the sale in the exact same month. So if you get your product in January, they can record the cost in January, even if the vendor's invoice doesn't land until February. And that gives them a much, much more accurate picture of how profitable they were that month. It's a huge deal. But of course, a process that's this tightly woven together, this automated, well, it's also pretty fragile. If just one little link in this digital chain snaps, the whole thing can grind to a halt. Here are two classic ways this whole thing goes wrong. A customer calls up wondering, hey, where's my bill? And the answer is, the vendor's invoice is literally just sitting on someone's desk, not in the system yet. Or even worse, the package ends up at the company's main office because your ship-to address wasn't entered correctly way back in step 1. At the end of the day, when a company decides to dropship, it's outsourcing a lot more than just shipping. It's outsourcing a piece of its reputation. Because you, the customer, you only know who you paid. So the success of this whole invisible operation doesn't just ride on a vendor's ability to pack a box. It rides on the strength and the reliability of that digital chain that connects everyone together.